How many hours? 几个小时？ Computer Science. 对？
1 hour.
Oh, it doesn't. 它没写。It's 1个半小时，它没写，所以你可以自己写。It's 1个半小时。Okay? It's 90 minutes for the exam. Now, we're going to. This is the topics that you're going to have. We have programming, just the fundamental programming. Okay? Variables, functions, loops, if statements, syntax errors, math, strings, 1D, 2D, array, and imports. This is the last thing we studied. Then it's data, binary, decimal, all that stuff. That was the very first unit. Hardware, software. Okay, you need to know about the different operating system, functions, things like that. Also the CPU architecture. And then the last thing we studied was networking. So there's 3 units, including some programming. Today, we're going to review programming. Okay? This is the fundamental things there. And then tomorrow we'll do some data and software. Okay? So I want you, this gives you the ideas of all the topics, and I also have some practice questions there. Alright, so 我们开始. Please pull out a notebook. We're going to summarize everything about coding. Okay? There is a few coding questions. One page will be about coding. Okay? So open up your notebook. We're going to do the exam review. Okay? So day 1, exam review. This is for grade 10 IGCSE Computer Science. Okay? Programming. Now, I'm going to go a little bit faster here because this is a summary. The very first thing is, what is the very topic there, Carol? What is the very first topic for programming? Variables. Variables. What are the different type of variables that we can have? Let's just quickly go through. Yuna, variable. Tell me, we have a total of 6 variables. Tell me one. We have int, float, 继续. Okay, 我们需要快一点. Float, we have 5个. Int, float, string. Yuna, say one. Huh? Have a look in your notes. This is all review. Int, float, string. Good thing we're reviewing, eh? This is the very first day. 第一天, when we came to class, we have Boolean, char, and then date. Okay? So unit, you need to copy in your note. Okay? Give me an example of an integer. Give me an example of an int. Unit? Integer. Give me an example. Yeah, 1, -2. Float. Give me an example, Carol. 3.2. String. Pi. It has a quotation. Boolean. True. It has to be capital T. Okay? Char is A or N. And then the date is, day, month, year. Now, for the date, again, we're not going to really do that. That's into something else. Okay? 写好了? We'll have 一张纸, and then we're going to 写 small letter. We just want the 重要 information. Everything I put in the PPT is the stuff that you need to visualize, the things that you need to remember for the test, because you need to be able to identify these things. Now, in programming, we also have this thing called errors. We have 3 types of errors when programming. What is the name of the tool? Do you remember? 我们有3种的错误. For example, if I print something wrong, it gives you the red error. What type of error is that, Carol? If I 拼错, let's say I say print, but I forgot the 中括号 or something like this. I forgot a bracket or something. What are the 3 types of code that can be in coding? Do you remember? 有3种的 code. One is called syntax error. Syntax error. That's if you spell something wrong. For example, if I go print and then I forgot a 括号, for example. This is called syntax error. When you type something wrong, it's not the correct syntax. This is the most common. Do you remember we have a worksheet there, and it said, what is the code? 一般 the code is syntax error. The most type of error is human error. This is human, right? Then we have runtime error. Runtime error. Do you remember, Carol, runtime error? Runtime error. Runtime error. Runtime error, the code is okay. The code can run, but sometimes we have input. We're not too sure what happened, but as it's running, it will start the code, but as the program's working, you're going to get an error. And sometimes we get an error. For example, if I ask you for a division, and I divide 0 by 2. If I divide 0, so that would be like this, div 0, 2. Can I divide 0 by 2? 可不可以? What is 0 divided by 2? 不可以, you're going to get a total. This is going to give you an error, and that would be a runtime error if you got an input like that. Okay? Then we have this thing called logic error. Logical error is very similar, but what happens is the human made a mistake. For example, a logic error, the code will run, okay? The code will run, but I do something wrong. 举个例子, I want to do 2 divided by 4, but I do 4 divided by 2. I put the human error, I put the wrong logic. Okay? I want to go 2 divided by 4, then sure, I do 4 divided by 2. Okay? 这个没有错误, it's not going to have an error, 但是我的数学是不对. 这个也是一个错误. Okay? And so those are all called bug. If you have the error in the code, we call bug. 我们有那个错误, we call bug. This is part of coding. Now, after variables, what is the topic there, Carol? On the review page, we did the variables. What is in the programming? What is the next component? So we have variables, and then the next thing it says what? It says functions and loops. So let's do functions. What are functions? Functions is to make the code easy in blocks. Okay? Functions are to make the code easy or into blocks. And they use this thing, DEF, right? Define, and then you have the name of function, and then you have the koha, and then you have the maha, right? And then you can pass in variables. And then in here, maybe I want to print the name. Okay? This is called function. This is how to make a function. You use DEF or define. And if I want to call the function, you go name and then put the bracket here. And then maybe you put some variable in here. This is how to call the function. Now, it's really important to remember function, if I have a variable inside function, x is equal to 4, is this a local variable or global variable? Yuna? Inside the function, is this local or global? This is called local variable. You need to understand the difference between local variable and if I have x is equal to 5 out here, what is the name of this variable, Carol, here? Local or global? If it's not inside function, is it local or global? It's global. What is the difference between a local function and a global variable? Sorry, Carol. What is the 不一样？它们是一样还是不一样？什么不一样？ What is the difference between him? One can only be print inside the function. You cannot print him outside function. He's local. Global means you can print him anywhere in your code. Okay? Global means can be used in all code. Can be used everywhere. Local can only be used in function. Okay? A local variable can only use him in the function. Okay? Can you make sure that you understand those? Now, the second thing about function is we have this thing called procedure. Procedure versus function. Now, in grade 10, you can use pseudocode or you can use Python. Okay, they do give you the options, but in grade 11, they don't give you the option. But what is the difference between procedure and function? Procedure, he does not have any variable paths. Okay, so a procedure, okay, what he would be is def. I have a function called print, for example, and then I just have a name. I'm going to pass the name, and then in here I'm going to print, obviously I can't use that print name. He does not pass anything to return, okay? Mail return. This is called the procedure. He just do something like print. He does not give any information inside function. Okay? Now, what a function is, the definition of function on the exam, function, it has a return. He will return the local variable outside the function. Okay? How does that look? It's very similar. 但是不一样. You go def, let's say, I'm going to add. And then I have num1, num2. Okay? This will add. And then I have a sum is equal to num1 plus num2. Do you remember doing that? We added two things. And then what we would do is we have this special thing called return. Return sum. And so the difference between that is function must have return. That means he's going to give the 结果 outside the function. Okay? So this is about function, and it's used to make my code more easy and into the blocks. Okay, Carol, can I go to the next one? Carol, what is the difference between procedure and function? What is the difference between procedure and function? We're going to go to the next topic. 什么不一样 to procedure function? What is the key difference between procedure and function? Which one does not return data? Procedure. Okay, you just have to remember procedure, no return. Okay. Next thing we have is loops. Okay, this is the next loop. We have the for and then the while loop. Okay? How does the for loop work and what does he use for? For is good for counting. When I know a number, he's good for counting. While loop is based on a condition. Okay? So we're going to show the different, what are the different conditions you can have? You can have is something is equal, something bigger than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, or not equal to. You need to know these different conditions, okay? These are conditions where you test, rule if something is the same or different, okay? This means it's equal, you know? This means not equal. This is bigger than, and then this is less than. And this is bigger or equal to, and this is less or equal to, okay? So let's show the basic syntax for loop. What it does, it uses the command for, then you have a variable I, and then you put in range. And then in here, you can put 3 numbers. One is the start, end, and step. And then in here, you put your code. You know, what is the function of the loop or iteration? What is the purpose of the loop? What does loop mean? And 它干什么? What is the idea of the for loop? Do you remember?
No.
The loop means to repeat. Do you know this word repeat? It means to do something over and over again. 举个例子, if I want to count from 1 to 100, this would take a lot of print, 对不对? But I can use a loop. Carol, say with me. If the code, I would just go for I in range. You put the start number is 1. I want to go to 100. That is sure you have to do one more than 100 because in Python it exits at that number. So you're going to go 101. And the step is the count. I want to count by 1. Okay? This would be the code. And then this is going to be print I. This is going to count from 1 to 100. Okay, Carol? How to count from 50 to 10. What would be the for loop for 50 to 10? Carol, can you tell me? What would be the 3 numbers? If I want to count from 50到10, what would be the 3 numbers I would have to put in the 括号? Carol? What would be the 3 numbers? Can you tell me? I want to count, use a for loop from 50 to 10. What would be the 3 numbers that I put? So yeah, I would start at 50, and then what would be the end number? It would have to be 9, because you have to go 1 less than that. And then the step would be 负一, because I'm counting backwards. Okay, so just remember, 一 means to go 上. I could add 2 or 1 or what have you. Okay, so that's the idea for loop. It's good when we know the number. If I want 10 times, I could even just have inside my bracket. If I want something to happen 10 times, I could just put 1 number. If I put 1 number, it's going to happen 10 times. And then I don't have to worry about the range. Okay, the while loop is a little bit different than the for loop. Okay, I'm going to scroll down. Carol, I need you to start copying because I'm going a little bit fast. This is Fushi, it's review. So right here is while loop. While loop is a little bit different. You have to declare your variable outside the loop. I is equal to 0. And then you go while I is less than, we want to go, for example, 1 to 100. While it's less than 101. And it requires a maha. I'm going to print I, And then in here, you have to go the next I. So I have to go I is equal to I plus 1. Okay? You see, this code and this code is exactly the same, but it's using a different shangha. What happens is I is equal to, we wanted to 1. Sorry. So if I wanted to count from 1 to 100, I would have to 开始 I 是 equal to 1, 对不对? And then if this is true, if this is 1 less than 100 and 1 there, Yuna, is this true 还是 false? Is 1 less than 101? 这个对还是不对? This is 对. 如果 it's true, it means you do the code here. 如果 it's 不对, we exit the loop. It's finished. Okay? So what's going to happen is it's going to 加1 and then it's going to go, this will be 2. Is 2 less than this? 对, it's going to dying. It's dying. It's going to print. And then I get to 101. Carol, is 101 bigger than 101? Is this true or false? Is 101 less than 101? This is false. So therefore, it will not print 101 because we exit the loop. Therefore, this code 是答应1到100. 它没到110, he didn't print 110 because this condition was not met. And that's why you had to add 1 to 100 to make it go in all that range. Okay, 明白? So that's the for loop. Okay, Carol, what is the second topic after loops? What is the topic after loops? Can you read on the piece of paper? We have variables, functions, loop, rental, Yarga. Okay. What is variable, function, loops? What is the next topic? Yes. The next topic is if, the 如果 statements. These are very similar to the, this is to do for decision making, okay? What happens is you can test anything. If A is greater than B and it has to have a maha. If this is true, then it will do this code, okay? So this is the if statement. What happens is you use the word if. Then you have a condition. Just like the while loop, you have a condition symbol. Okay, it uses the same condition symbols here, but just know in pseudocode, in Python they use double equal sign. Then sure, on the exam they use 1 equal sign, and the other difference is when something's not equal to, this is 不一样的, not equal to. On the exam they use these 2 chevrons. Okay, so this is in Python. And this is on the exam. They use 一个 equal sign, 不是两个. Okay? Syntax. What is the, after syntax errors we already talked about, what is the topic there, Yuna? After the if statements, after the syntax errors, we have the math. Okay? How is math done on the coding? Okay, let's show. How is math done? I can add, subtract, multiply, divide. Okay, how do I add? It's A plus B. It uses the same symbols. Multiplying is A star B. Agree? And then division. What is the symbol for division? You know? How to divide in on the DNR. Can we put this symbol on the DNR? No. 没有. So what do I use? Carol? Yeah, what do we use? What is this called right here? this is called backslash. So you can copy these are the math. 但是 this is in Python. Python. We also have another symbol. It's the percent sign. The percent sign is the modulus. Okay? And that gives you the remainder of a division. Okay? This is called the modulus or mod. So these are all the 书写 functions that you can have. Okay? But on the exam, on pseudocode, the division is it's called, let me see here. I have to double check. I think it's div. Divide. Do you remember the cheat sheet I gave you? Can you look at the cheat sheet I had with the different computer terms? Harold, do you have the piece of paper that has the difference right here? Can you have a look right here? Do you remember this right here? The very first day I gave you the different function about the coding. Can you have a look in your notes? So, for the math section, they use div, and you can have two letters. Div, it means it's a floor division. What a floor division means that if I have 3.14, sorry, I guess it would just be div. If you have two things that divide, it rounds down. Round down. Okay, it's a round down after a division. Okay, we also have a function called round. R-O-U-N-D. Round. Okay, this will also round up or down. Okay, 举个例子 if I have 3.5, 它变4. Round 3.2, it will 变3. Okay, and so there's a round function. If I do this mod, they do not use this on the exam. They use this command mod, and then we have A, comma B. We have the two division, but this is give the true. It's the remainder. Okay, and then we have some Boolean of and or not. Okay, things like that. Okay, so this is the 书写. Okay, and did you have a look? Can you find it? 有没有? Okay, you'll have what I want you to do is have a look. The things that I'm writing on the board are coming right from here. So this kind of outlines it. Carol, can you take off your coat if you're too tired? Okay. Okay. What is the next topic there, Carol? After the 书写, what is the next thing on the review paper? Can you have a look? For sure. After math. What is the topic after math? 对, is the strings. What is strings there, Yuna? What are the strings? This is a variable type, 对不对? Strings are basically words, 对不对? For example, hi. Hi is a word. And strings are very similar like array, because each element we have is an index number. For example, the very first one is 0, and this is 1. 对不对? And so if I have a word that's equal to hi, and I go print, and then I have my word, and then I put the 中括号 and I put 0, What is this going to print there? What part of the string is it going to print? What is it going to print, the H or the I in the word? 0. It's going to print H, right? And so we call these index numbers, index. And it's the same idea as an array, but the 有点不一样, okay? It's used for strings. So I can print a specific location of a word. That's important there. Or I could print several things. So for example, let's say my word, let's say I have my name. Do you remember? My name is Mr. Newson. And I just want to print Newson, but I want to remove these. We can do a range. Let's figure out the index range right here. Carol, if you're sleeping, I have to, please don't sleep. Okay, I don't want to have 2 minutes. Okay, try to keep your big eyes open. Right here we have 0, 1, 2, 2, even if it's a 空着, 也有一个 number, right? This would be 3. So if I want to print Newson, Carol, what do I have to print? Print name. And what is the range? What is the range? 开始 and then end. What number does the n start? What is the index number there, Carol? Or Yuna? N is 几号? It is, this is 0, 1, 2, 3. It starts at 3. Agree or disagree? And then I put this is called cutting, right? 我剪, this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But to 剪, you have to do one more. Because if I cut at 8, it's going to delete the end, 对不对? And so I'm going to have to put 9. So this is how you can cut or splice a word. Okay, copy 一下. And on the exam, it's the same idea, but just note, the index numbers start at 1. Okay, they start at 1 for pseudocode. They start at 1, not 0, but the idea 是一样的. These are called strings. Carol, can you pick up your coat? Hello. Okay, this is important. Can you write down about the string? Okay, about the numbers there. Can you see okay or no? Yeah, 还有。马上下课. Okay, we only have, you copy it down, then we're going to go. 对不对? Okay? You copy it down, we 马上下课, so please get it done. I'm just having a look here for arrays. Let's see here, arrays. Constants. Now, after strings, the last thing was to do with the array. An array and strings are very similar, but a little bit different. Okay? Now, array. Array, we have ED and RD array. Another word for array is basically a list of items. In Python, the list can only be 一种的 list. 这个例子 numbers 还是 string. Okay? So, if I make a list, I can have fruit. And to make an array, they use the 中括号, 对不对? And then inside that list, I can say apple, and then use comma, orange, pear, and so on. Okay? And if I want to print a specific location, I would just say the array name, fruit, and then in here, this is 0, 1, 2. Okay? And so the difference between string, the 0 represents 一个 character, 一个 letter. 但是 for arrays, it can represent a word or a number or something else. Okay? And so this is the idea there. If I wanted to print orange there, what would I put for orange? Fruit. What fruit item is the orange? What number? Yeah, you just put 1. And if I want to 改变, I can say fruit 1 is equal to peach. And so this is how you can change the item in a 1D array. Okay? So that is it for the programming. Make sure that you go home and you screenshot. Can you see right here your schoolwork for Wednesday? See programming? They have about 5 or 6 questions. I want you to have a try to answer that. If you can answer, 如果你懂了 all the stuff that we mentioned today, and we can do these questions, I think we should be okay. Okay? And have a look at the past exam, and then that's it. Okay, Carol, have you copied? Can I have a look? And then you can go. Okay? Great. Great. Okay. Wait, let's go. Turn the fan. Thank you, girls. Oh, done here.